into the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey everybody, and welcome to AfterBuzz TV, the after show for Castle. And tonight's episode is Mean is Murder. I'm your host, Heather Joy Smith, and along with me tonight is
Alexis McLeod Torres. Hey guys!
Woohoo! Happy Monday!
Happy Monday indeed.
A nice episode for a Monday.
It was kind of awesome and kind of crazy.
Yeah,
like I loved every minute of it. Like,
me too.
It was a change from last week because I mean, not gonna lie, last week was kind of slow and it also was kind of rushed.
Yeah.
At least for me. I don't know how everybody else felt about it, but I felt like it kind of just went through. But this one was more detailed, and there was a lot more twists and turns, and I really liked that.
I feel like this episode we really got back to, like, the whole actual Castle vibe, you know, like, of seasons past where we really, like, dove into the episode and really, like, had this whole, like, full circle, like, you know, thing going on. So I really enjoyed this episode. I think this is my favorite so far.
Yeah, I will also agree with you on that. That's on the same boat. And this killer was just psychotically brilliant, but creepy as all hell. And I love that.
And I think I kind of enjoyed it too, more like because this could actually happen because social media is so huge right now.
Yeah.
And they made a really good point of saying, you know, a lot of people hide behind social media.
Yeah.
You know, they're anonymous. People don't know who they are. And you can say and do kind of whatever you want and not have any, like, repercussions of what you're doing.
Yeah, and that happens on, YouTube, Twitter. Like, there's a lot of YouTubers that are going through some hash about that right now. Like, it's a huge thing. And I like that they actually brought that into this episode and how dangerous it is if you take it, especially, what was the name of our made-up social media site today?
Oh, Snap-O-Matic.
Snap-O-Matic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that, like, they can't even, like, retrace any of the photos or, you know, privacy is such a big thing. Like, you know, people can pretty much, like you said, like, get away with anything. And that's just scary.
It is. And this site was obviously made up, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody kind of went and mirrored this site now, because to me, this was kind of like, it had, you know, obviously the Snapchat factor into it. Because, you know, you just send it and it's gone. Well, supposedly it's gone for good.
Yeah.
But then it also had, like, streaming, so it was kind of like YouTube, and then it seemed like
they
there was
pretty much
photo
just, like,
uploads. So
mashed
it's like
everything together.
Instagram. It was like literally every single social media site.
Yeah,
like,
you can vote on it.
You can vote on it.
That was strange.
I'm like, this is definitely the future.
Yeah.
This is coming in the next, like, 6 months, probably.
Pretty much.
So, speaking of Snapmatic, this was pretty much what our entire case tonight was based around. It's a social media site, and our first victim was Abby Smith, a 23-year-old who is famous on Snapmatic.
Which is, you know, how the internet works right now. There's always people who are internet famous, and, you know, they have thousands of followers. They all do, you know, meet and greets and things like that. So it obviously made sense that the fact they're, you know, they do get stalkers. I know some YouTube faces that, you know, they do VidCon, they do Comic-Con, and, you know, they have to deal with crazy stuff like that. I mean, nothing too crazy as in, like, how this situation was, but just the same thing of, like, you know, I love you, or I want to meet you, I want to marry you, and it's just really creepy.
It's
you gotta,
so
like,
crazy.
Yeah.
And, like, these people are making their living off of this a lot of times.
Yeah.
When you get that famous, I mean, you can't work another job because you have to post all day.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, people, like, post their lives, like,
I was like, their lives.
And
so people are getting all this information.
Yeah.
Just so scary.
Yeah. I
so this girl, Abby Smith, basically, she was killed because of all of her followers and stuff like that. And the first thing that they really noticed was that she was stabbed in all of her, like, major arteries.
Yeah, which I would have never picked up on that, but I mean, that's all, you know, her job. But the fact that, that I think it was shoulders, neck, and somewhere else, I can't remember. But yeah, and the fact that they picked up on that real quick, that he's like, oh, he must be in some sort of medical or something like that, so he knows anatomically correct puncture wounds. I was nuts.
Yeah,
and it was
crazy.
And it was strange because they were circular.
Yeah.
So they were trying to figure out if it was like an ice pick or because it couldn't have been a needle. It was too large. Like it was crazy how like
so weird.
Yeah, how
they could figure that
detailed it was, for the killing. So it was very interesting.
So this actually brought them to a guy named Hans who owns a acupuncture place because Abby had taken a picture in front of his acupuncture studio, I guess you would call it. I'm not quite sure what you call those, but his acupuncture place.
Line of business.
And basically with the her provocative photo wrote, "Don't let this guy poke you." And
oh my god, there's so many puns in this episode.
Exactly. Essentially took down his entire acupuncture business because she had a lot more followers than he did, and she kind of ruined him.
I felt bad for him though because she didn't even go in. She just like, oh hey, I'm gonna take a picture and make some funny comment, and then it just ruined his business. Completely.
Business. She didn't even go and see him. I mean, she could have maybe benefited from him. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, so Hans, the acupuncturist guy, and her kind of had a little quarrel or whatever.
That's right, at her apartment.
At her apartment. And she also received a postcard,
with a note attached to it saying that, like, I forgot what the note said.
I didn't write it down either, what the postcard said, but,
she was, like, waving it at him, saying, like, this is you, and he told Kate that he's only been he finally found her after a week, but she got that about a month ago, and she's been feeling like she's been followed for about a month or so. So that was interesting. And we found out that... what was it? The next one was the fact that after they found out from Snap-O-Matic that the victim was taunting them because they took pictures of, was it Espo finding the second victim? Well, not second victim, but the second suspect, which was a cop. What's his name?
Mr. Garrett.
Mr. Garrett. So the fact that they found out that his phone... the phone that he used and I think it was a pic, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a picture that was uploaded to Snap-O-Matic that was taken at the furniture gallery store that Mr. Garrett now owns because he used to be a former cyber detective or cop guy. But now he owns a furniture store after some issues he
was retired, I think, or something like that.
And so basically this guy, whoever it was, we find out Netslayer.
Yeah.
Essentially,
I hate that name so much.
It's so weird.
I think it's so cheesy.
So cheesy. Essentially, was framing Mr. Garrett because he and we find out later had a relationship prior to all of this going on. So that's kind of how Mr. Garrett gets involved in this, and. At first, I'm like, okay, this guy's a little old to be on all these social media sites.
I like that you brought that up. So it wouldn't have made sense for him to be the killer.
For him to be the killer. But then it was also kind of like, well, this is weird that all this stuff is linking back to him, but maybe it has something to do with it, which we did see come full circle.
Which I thought was really smart. I would have never thought of that. And Castle was, I think, the first one to just pick up on that. And I was just like, I didn't even know how you brought 2 and 2 together, but that's why I'm not a cop. So. Yeah.
And brilliant for the Castle writers on whoever wrote this episode
I completely
tonight.
agree.
This is genius.
The pacing was really well done. The writing was well done, except for the ridiculous puns that were killing me the whole time.
I loved them, though. I thought they were so funny. I'm like sitting in my chair, like giggling the whole time. Like,
I was sitting there, I'm like, stop the cheese. Turn off the flow of the hot cheese. Oh, it's terrible. Terrible.
So before we go on, we want to make sure to remind everybody to go onto iTunes and rate us 5 stars. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and also comment below, and we will respond to any comments or suggestions or Twitter questions or whatever you have questions.
Yeah, we've been getting some really awesome tweets that you guys are liking the show, but don't forget, you can always ask us any questions. We'll read it out. I know we have a few of them that actually even like direct message us and tell us like how great we're doing, and giving us questions or theories. I always like hearing the theories.
I love the theories.
I think I have a few of them, but I'll read them later at the end of the show.
Yeah, we'll get into that in predictions.
Yes, I know.
And we also have a few things that we have coming up, guest related.
I know, I'm so excited.
Stay tuned for that. We're really excited. Yay. So moving on, the turn in this whole case tonight was the game is on. And basically,
yeah, those pictures, I couldn't even figure them out. I was just like, what does this have to do? What was it? It was
a body parts of a female,
right, yeah,
sausages,
and
an expiration date November 12th, 2013, which would have been 11/12/13.
Yes. As soon as they showed us those pictures, I was like, so is someone going to make sausages out of humans on this date? No, we're not even in that month. Okay, wait. And I love it because Castle even thought of the same thing. He's like, human sausages, November, the human sausages of November. I don't know. I can't think of it. And I was just like, I'm on the same boat. I don't
know where you're going with this.
But then the killer cropped it out of 3 different photos?
3 different photos from 3 different people to come up with spoiled brats, basically.
I remember looking at you going, that's really smart, but just why?
Yeah. I mean, crazy. And I think, them bringing in this Mary Fuchs,
I can't pronounce her last name.
Mary.
I'm not even going to try.
The German food blogger.
Yeah, she was, German cuisine.
Yeah, German cuisine. Her and her 75 followers. And when
oh my God, I was just like, wait.
I was laughing so hard.
Why did they pick her then?
Yeah.
Is she going to, I thought for sure that she was going to be the next victim.
I did too.
And then he was just picking, not random photos, but the fact that the expiration date was from another person who only had 2,000 followers. And then, of course, we figured out the last one was the spoiled brats.
Yeah, and I think because they brought in Mary, because they kept saying sausages, and she's like, no, they're brats. Like,
yeah, they're bratwursts. That's what they are.
Then it's like, I get it now.
It was very smart.
So they figured out that the spoiled brat in the picture was Tatiana Fisher and her boyfriend, Cam Majani, or something like that. And they're both socialites in New York City and very wealthy and rich and drive nice cars.
I wanted to smack her so hard.
Yeah. And so they find this girl, Tatiana, and they're going up to her as she's on her way to some,
event or party or something like that on Fire Island.
Yeah, and she's just such a spoiled brat in this moment.
Yeah, not to play on the word there, but she was absolutely terrible. I literally wrote down in my notes, Miss Fisher is a butt muncher. That's literally what I wrote. I was just like, I hate this. And of course, I don't want to say that she got what was coming, but at the same time, I was like, either the car is going to do something, it's going to blow up, it's going to, but I wasn't expecting him to be in the car.
I was not expecting Cam to be the one dead. I thought, she's going to go to this party, they're going to follow the party, and then she's going to die.
Yeah.
Not let's open up the car door and your
I felt really bad for him.
There.
I was just like, he didn't deserve that. Neither does she, but at the same time, I was just like, I was so mad.
Yeah.
I was so mad. But I like that they picked up that there was no DNA. They found PLA in the locks, and the fact that he's right-handed, because the way that his throat was slit was from the right hand.
Yeah, that was interesting. And so we learned something tonight for everybody on social media. Do not take pictures of your keys. I mean,
I didn't even think about that.
I never would have thought about that. And thankfully, my car and my apartment key are both not like that. They're both automatic, crazy technology keys. But
so
for people who have old school house keys,
don't post them on the internet.
Don't post them on the internet.
So if you haven't seen the episode, even if you just want to watch, the fact that what happened was that the killer had a 3D printer, and what happened when you have a 3D printer, you can take pictures off the internet or on your phone or anything like that, and you upload it into the 3D printer, just from what Castle has told me, and then it actually carves out a 3D printed version of the object. So what the killer did in this one was that he took the key, a picture of the key, because Cam put it up there I have a new car, and took the picture of it. It uploads and digitalizes it, and then the fact that it becomes the key, he had it in his hand, and that's how he got into the car and killed him.
So crazy how technology.
I didn't even think about that. I was just like, who does that?
I know.
I don't know.
So not only is this cyber person want some followers, but he's also pretty darn smart. Psycho.
All I'm gonna say.
Yeah. So the next thing that they were trying to figure out is, okay, Abby, the first victim, didn't upload her keys or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, how did he get a key to her apartment? Come to find out, she was renting out her apartment, and she puts the key in one of the bricks in front of her house, and hello. Like, I mean, this seems to be common sense, but I guess a lot of people do this.
No, apparently so. Like, I've seen a few TV shows that have used this situation way too many times, and whether it's like CSI or just anything in general, where they're like, oh, we do rent swapping, or we do, apartment swapping, and you know, if you're gone, you have someone rent your apartment, which I've technically seen, but I've never really seen it with like complete strangers. So correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if there's like a site that because
there is a site. I don't know.
There?
Yes, I don't know the name of it, but there's several sites. Actually.
I haven't seen them like in real life. I've only seen them like on TV. So I was always like, oh, okay, it's just a good way to get a story. I never thought that was actually a thing. Like I think Love Actually, there's that too.
Yep,
so
exactly.
I can't do that. I can't just be like, here's my keys, enjoy it for a month.
No way.
I'll see you later. I can't do that. That's scary. And I love it because Tori, who does the cyber division at Now, was just like, I'm going to stop.
Yeah,
that now.
I love
like,
that part.
Yeah,
hello.
Don't do that. Jeez.
So Abby actually rents out her apartment, and 1 week a guy does not show up who she rented it for, but he actually does show up, and it was the Net Slayer.
So mad.
And he ends up showing up, goes to get the key, takes a picture of it, puts it back in there, walks across the street like an idiot. And boom, they have him on surveillance.
I love it because he has his hands in his pocket, just kind of do it, and he looks up, and then boom.
Yeah.
I was just like, really? I mean, if you're following me on Twitter, the fact that all I put was like, he walked in front of the camera, really, just like that. I was so mad. I was just like, nobody does that. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not in the situation, but I thought it was so lame that they're just like that one moment they got a clear HD picture. Of his face. I'm so mad.
I don't know if you all caught this, but when they got the clear picture of his face and Mr. Garrett was the one to ID him, Mr. Garrett was like, he has a fake beard on. Why would you put a fake beard on?
It didn't look fake.
It didn't look fake to me either.
At all.
And I thought that was just kind of weird. Like, okay, did he do that because he's trying to be, like, secretive when he goes against the key? Or did he know he was going to be on surveillance? Like, that was just kind of a weird comment that didn't really make sense.
And they didn't even bring it up later because when you see him later on in the episode, he's completely clean shaven, which we figured because he has a fake beard. But when you look at the photo, it looks like he has facial hair. Like,
it just looked like stubble.
Yeah,
like 5-day stubble.
Yeah, literally that's what it looked like. So it was very confusing. So I kind of just went over my head, Oh, another thing. Speaking of HD photos, if anybody has watched this episode, Abby Smith's. Abby Smith's picture that from the Net Slayer's phone was in HD right in front of her, and I was just like, if you're either in a window or on a tree or whatever, you do not get that angle. It doesn't look clear like that. I don't care.
And it was from a burner phone?
A burner phone. Do you have an iPhone 6?
Yeah.
Like, as a burner phone?
What the heck?
I didn't even know you could do that. So I was really confused. I was just like, okay, that's more of a TV show thing. But I was like, if this was in real life, that's not how that works. It would be blurry, pixelated, absolutely terrible. And I was so mad. I was just like, continuity, damn it.
So stupid.
But now we obviously show, we find out that the victim, his name is Adam Lane. Oh, I'm sorry, the murderer is Adam Lane. He was a victim in an old Officer Garrett's cyber case where he was bullied at his high school. I can't remember the situation.
What happened, it sounded like, is they were in the locker room. Some football players took his clothes.
That's right, okay.
And he was screaming at the football players, give me back my clothes, blah, 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 making a huge scene. This was then uploaded onto MySpace.
Oh, MySpace.
MySpace. Y'all remember MySpace?
Oh, man. That's still relevant. People still use MySpace.
Oh, they do?
Oh, yeah. They've completely...
I'm sorry, people.
I looked back before this episode even happened because someone was referring their stuff from MySpace instead of Facebook, and they've completely revamped their site. Yeah, it's like...
Can I get my photos back from MySpace?
Right.
Remember when they, shut it all down? I was like, where's my photos?
Where's my photos? I want my stuff. But no, they're back. I mean, I don't know if you could still sign on to your old stuff, but that would be really awesome.
Yeah.
Because I have some photos on there that I can't find.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, it's revamped. If you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. It's completely different now. It's kind of looks more like Google Plus, but it's MySpace now.
Interesting.
So it's very interactive. There's more, you can change the backgrounds a little bit more. Like it's just revamped, but it's still relevant. People still use it.
It's still kicking, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Good for them.
Good for them. So he, had his own victim incident in high school, which is where all of this kind of anger and hatred started. Yeah. And I feel bad for him in that sense.
There's a thin line.
Come on.
I don't know. Like, I felt really bad because, I mean, cyberbullying is a big deal, especially right now with social media. There's a lot of kids that, you know, go through terrible things. And I understand that, like, the cops couldn't do anything at that time. I'm going to assume since it was MySpace, it's, like, early 2000s and stuff like that. But at the same time, like, I feel like that shouldn't be the fire that starts you on a mass killing spree. Again, I get it. But you really shouldn't do that. Like, that's just my own opinion.
It kind of, I mean, like you said, this MySpace was popular early 2000s.
It was.
And it sounded like he was okay, you know, getting through life this whole time, and then his mother died. And it triggered something.
He just snapped at that point.
Yeah.
And I felt really bad. But again, still not
okay. Doesn't justify anything.
If that's the case, you know, people. Obviously, you know, if you're being cyberbullied or any type of bullying, obviously you should go tell somebody, talk to someone. I know that it's really, really hard. I mean, I was bullied when I was a kid, but I mean, it's never good to go get revenge.
No.
I mean, never a good thing. And this guy obviously took it way too far. But, I mean, you know, you talk your stuff out, and that's how that works. And I felt really bad that he didn't get the help that he needed, and obviously now it's escalated to larger proportions. And I don't know if I'm trying to think in history if it's ever gotten that far.
I don't know.
I mean, besides the fact of certain other events like Columbine and stuff like that. Yeah. But I mean, still.
But like, thing. You know, serial killings after I've never
heard of that. But I mean, same thing.
It still could happen though.
Yeah. And that's what was scary about this episode. It was very real. Yeah. So, you know, obviously, same thing, you know, from us to you. If there's anything going on in your life, go talk to somebody.
Go talk to someone.
Yeah.
Do what you can. Talk to us if you need to.
Hey, we're here. We're totally fine with that. But still, back to this. This man is just absolutely crazy. And I felt really bad for him.
And the last kind of thing that he did before they brought him into custody is he ended up kidnapping the Snap-O-Matic creators and basically putting them up on their own site with who should live and who should die and making it a poll, which is so sick.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. And also, where did he get the equipment from? Yeah. That's what I wanted to know. Yeah. I don't know if anybody else caught that, but I was just like, who did you steal that? Yeah. Like, where did you steal that from? A hospital? Like,
it was like pretty high-tech equipment.
It was.
But I was wondering, I was like, is this actually going to work?
Yeah, that's what I thought smart? Too. Then I was like, oh, is he actually going to stop their heart? Like, is that actually a thing? Like, I was concerned, but at the same time going, this sounds like BS to me. A little bit.
So we have to
please bring this up.
We love this entire episode until this last scene. I'm sorry. It was just
we have to talk about it.
Okay. They kept saying there's 7 minutes left. There's 7 minutes left. There's 7 minutes.
And this is when Kate was already talking to him, like in the interrogation room. Javi and Ryan are trying to race to find out they're at the was it Snap-O-Matic's place, and then their computer shut down. And at that time, they had 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they find out that they had 7 minutes from Kate, and they finally figured out where he was. He was in his old locker room, high school locker room. And then they race to wherever they need to go, and they got there literally 2 seconds before the thing went off, or when they pulled it out. And I was just like, no, that's not how that works. And I call BS.
The funny thing is, like, in New York, it takes like 7 minutes to walk 1 block. I'm like,
and the fact that you had to drive from wherever you were at to wherever this school was, unless it was like right next door, is a load of BS.
So we loved this entire episode up until that scene. Sorry,
I was so upset. I mean, you guys can give us crap for it later, but that was utter bullshit. Like, I will call that out right then and there.
I just wish they would have, like we said, I wish they would have said, like, okay, there's 2 hours left, and then made it more realistic.
Made it so much easier. I would have been like, okay, cool, we have time, because at the time when they found out about it, there was an hour.
Yeah.
And then there was 15 minutes. Or no, I'm sorry, there was 37 minutes, actually. I think that's what he said. Ryan said that the countdown started at an hour. They had 30 minutes. They brought him in for questioning. Then he had 15 minutes. Computer shut down, and then they went to go find him.
Yeah. Crazy.
No.
I don't know how that's possible, but
whatever.
If it is, fantastic for you guys.
I mean, like I said, like the fact that like, it's 15 minutes, it's gonna be an hour.
Yeah,
like that's what's gonna happen. Movie time, TV time, it's gonna be an hour.
Yeah,
I'm so mad though.
Let's talk real quick about how fantastic Beckett's "Are You Broken" speech was.
Yeah,
I mean, she got down to business.
I tweeted out, I was like, damn Kate, you scary.
It's scary.
She got into his head, and I liked how she did that. Like, she brought, it was kind of like reverse psychology kind of. And the fact that she belittled him, and she made him weak, and then, you know, he just eventually just started leaking out, like, just little secrets and little tips of, like, okay, they were together, because she said that they were laughing at him, and, like, no, they're not laughing, so you know that they were together. And then they brought up the fact that it was stale air and
like the walls. I can't remember this.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember what they called the walls, but yeah, they were talking about basically the locker room.
I mean, in the past, Kate has always been on top of her interrogation. She's always got what she wanted, and even if she didn't, she would just, you know, she would push them around, whatever. But the fact that this one was just all just psychological, and she really got through to him, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Again,
so good.
Damn Kate, you scary. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
That was awesome.
So good.
Yeah. I loved every minute of that.
Yep. And Castle, lastly, also had his debut for his book.
Yeah.
You know,
commercial.
Raging Heat commercial. I loved every minute of this.
I didn't think they were going to go through that. I really didn't think they were going to go that route.
I had no idea they were going to go that route either. I thought, oh, this is going to be like his actual commercial.
It was going to be full of cheese.
Yeah.
Like, it was, I thought it was going to be absolutely terrible.
No, instead they took every, like, fall tongue twister, everything he said, and they, like, auto-tuned it, made it into, like, a mini music video.
Yeah, which was, it's perfect for our time because everything that's great gets auto-tuned and remixed.
Right.
So the fact that they did that for Castle, I was just like, slow clap for you, good sir.
And as he's, like, so humiliated.
So mad.
Like, Alexa's like, oh my gosh, you hit like $500,000.
Yeah,
Like,
and I was just like, yeah. It went viral.
Yeah.
You should be happy. You went viral.
Which is what he wanted.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. He's like, 1 million people saw that? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
That's what happens, Castle. That's what happens.
Get with the times, apparently.
So let's get into some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So this next episode is gonna be well, we have a 2-week hiatus technically, so I'm gonna be really sad because we won't have Castle next week.
I know.
So I was just like, great. Now what am I gonna do on my Mondays? But the week after that, November 10th, apparently we're gonna be getting the wedding that we always wanted.
Yeah.
But I'm also mad because we're still not gonna bring up nothing of Castle. We're just gonna have the wedding. I mean, we talked about it that we wanted the wedding. But you can't keep me in the dark.
No.
It's killing me slowly.
I wish they would have put one more episode in between tonight and that episode.
Yeah, before we have the wedding.
Before we have the
agree.
wedding to kind of like
agree.
tie up all these loose ends that are
Just at least a little bit.
just a little bit.
Yeah.
We're just asking for a little bit.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
We don't want the whole story.
No, I just want like a little tidbit, and then you can go marry her.
Yeah.
But according to the clip that we saw, that there's going to be a weird turn where Kate and Castle Kate doesn't know who Castle is.
Yeah, very weird.
So I don't know how they're going to play that in the story. Like, I don't know if he hits his head or something happened. Like, I don't really know how that's going to work out. It will be nice to see them act like they don't know each other, and
That'll be funny.
yeah, it'll bring us back to season 1 and how they, play, and how they flirt and all this kind of stuff, or even if she's going to be like that, because I know she was extremely harsh to Castle when he first got there.
she might not even like want anything to do with him.
Yeah, and then we find out on November 17th that there's the honeymoon, because obviously he's like, we need to get married right now, and I was like, yay, wait, no, this is too early. No, I need more things before we start. And then I guess the honeymoon is on a ranch.
Yeah, weird.
Because what was Kate wearing? She was wearing some sort of,
I don't even know what.
I think she was wearing some sort of like cowboy outfit, and of course he like carried her past the threshold. Is that how that works? I can't remember what it's called. And then apparently he shoots her, or she shoots him. It's such a weird preview clip. I don't know what to take from that. I feel like it's going to be overly cheesy on November 17th.
I think so too. So I just had a thought. Wonder if they actually are just teasing that the wedding is going to be on the 10th, but really it's going to be on the 17th, and they go on the honeymoon like right after. And so we get some answers.
Stop playing with my emotions, Castle writers. I don't like that.
Well, I don't know. We just need some answers before the wedding.
Just one or two. I would like at least 1 or 2 questions answered, and then I would be the happiest person in the world. I'm like, all right, get them married, honeymoon, send them on their way.
Let's do this.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that, but I don't know. Your predictions for for next week more than just the fact that.
Like I think that the wedding's not going to happen next week. I think it's going to happen the week after.
I really hope it doesn't.
I don't know. I just don't feel like they could just. There's too many loose ends still. I'm not ready to.
I mean, my prediction is that they are going to get married, but I think it's going to be what they're going to do with this episode is they're going to find out that she does love him, as we all know that she does, but they have to go through that whole awkward stage of just him trying to get her to fall back in love. I can't remember that Nolan Sparks or Nicholas Sparks book. Yeah. But that kind of whole ordeal, and then, you know, he'll wake up or whatever, and then he'll be like, I have to marry her right now. So that's why he's like, you know, let's get married right now. And then we go into the honeymoon, and that's where it gets all, you know, fun after that. That's my prediction. I don't know if it's actually going to happen that way, but I mean,
this will be interesting.
It would be nice to know.
Did we have a couple Twitter predictions too come through?
I didn't. I have some comments from like the first episode that I just not just read, but I had them sitting on my phone and I kept forgetting to answer them. But there were some pretty good ones, and there were some where I was just like, we did say that. I remember that. And I'm hoping, I think Tiana had some on here too, which I'm trying to pick up at the moment. My phone is not letting me load up any of the things that I want.
So if you guys have predictions, make sure to tweet us too and let us know so we can read them a couple weeks from today, November 10th, when we come back. We can see like if we were all right on this wedding happening or not.
Yes, because I want to know what you guys think about that.
Yeah.
But I have one from the first episode. His name is Tari J. Miller. I hope I didn't butcher your name. He says, I know everything seems confusing now, but I imagine that they're laying the clues for the overall mystery of where Castle was. It'll be like Doctor Who type flashbacks to all the little pieces dropped in the first episode. They close Kate's mother's killer story, and there's so much more to explore with Castle's father and his history, which we brought up before. And he said, side note, the show is also called Castle, but there are other castles on the show, which is Alexis and his mom. The show would be super cool if Alexis and Kate became buddy cops trying to solve his murder. I would definitely watch that, which I agree with you. Yeah, I completely agree. And I think the other one I have is from Amanda Deep. Whoops. I remember there was an episode of Castle, I think a season or two ago, where a guy gets drugged. And if you get an overdose of the drug, you will do whatever you are told. And when you wake up, you don't remember anything. It's like a zombie-themed episode. She doesn't remember. I think this could be what happened to Castle, but I'm not sure. And Esposito was so obnoxious in this episode. He was so quick to doubt and blame Castle, which again was from the first episode.
Interesting.
Pretty much most of them were all the same from that angle, or the fact that they're just saying that they all want to know exactly what we want to know. They want to know what happened when he was 11, what's keeping it from it, and the fact that they want to know what fake... I'm forgetting his name now. The guy who said he was this, but he wasn't.
Oh, yes.
Henry Jenkins?
Yes.
Fake Henry Jenkins. They want to know why he's involved. That's the questions I was getting repeatedly. So don't worry. We're all left in the dark at this point.
We're wondering as well.
So, but please send in all your stuff. I want to read more things. I want to read more questions. Ask us stuff. anything like that.
Yeah. So on that note, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at atorres890. That's ATORRES 890.
And you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Heather Joy Smith. Thanks, everybody, and we will see you back here on November 10th.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.